My young family's descendants are so poor. Your ancestors will grant you a pair of clairvoyant eyes today. See through everything. Ancestor. X-ray vision. True or false? Shit. I actually got clairvoyant eyes. Then I'll have to make crazy money in the future. Come to the city to work hard for a month. I don't earn enough money to eat. All over. Take this ancestral jade pendant. I don't know how much it will cost. My young family's descendants are so poor. Your ancestors will grant you a pair of clairvoyant eyes today. See through everything. Ancestor. X-ray vision. True or false? Shit. I actually got clairvoyant eyes. Then I'll have to make crazy money in the future. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, ancestors. Ha ha ha. What's the matter with you, boy? Give me the new year in advance. You are Baodang. Xiangfeng you are Baodang Qian in the Qing dynasty. You are Baodang worth 50,000. Genuine. But I was mixed up by this store inside the fake ancient city. Hey, don't just watch it or buy it. Who said I didn't buy it? Just these. $500. I don't know if this is real or fake. You sell me $500. One price. 100. I'll sell it to you. Promise so readily. Then this is worth 50,000 bitcoins. It's mine. I'll give you money. We need to find a place to sell it. It's all genuine. Came to the right place. Hello, I'm Lin Ruyin. Do you want to buy or sell? Oh, I'm Yang Zhuang. I want to sell this big money in my hand. Things look good. You make a price. Bafang. Your money is in good condition. But the market circulation price is at most 50,000, 80,000. No, Mr. Lin is right. This money is worth 50,000, but 80,000. You can get my net worth. I can guarantee to sell you antiques, all genuine. Do you dare to gamble? I like to gamble when I invest. If you say so, I'll take it. Then, here you go, 100,000. I like this number. Make a friend. Doing business with Mr. Lin. Happy. This is 50,000. Transfer the rest to your WeChat. Ming Dynasty Blue and White Porcelain Official Kill. Genuine. Worth 100,000. Mr. Lin is a boss worth working with. Then I'll give her a big gift. Mr. Lin. $1,000 plate. I looked at the aura. It doesn't look like the Qing Dynasty. Are you sure? Everything in the store. But it's all my grandfather's pieces. Picked out by hand. I'm pretty sure. I think it looks like real Ming Dynasty Blue and White Porcelain Official Kill. Worth 100,000 instead of. Mr. Yang is very confident. But as for whether what you said is true or not, then I will contact my grandfather. Confirmed again. You can confirm. I'll go first then. Yang Zhuang. Kind of interesting. Why are there so many fake materials? Yeah. The real stuff is hidden. Just made 100,000 bucks. I have to use clairvoyant vision. Find a real product. Brother has been shopping for a long time. What can be on the stall? Look at this. From the palace. Plausible. Huang Qin Liao Ancient Beast Face Card. Genuine. Worth 100,000. 100,000. Hello? Do you want to buy it or not? Buy. Let's go. This big baby. We can't talk directly here. Bro. Let's talk here. Okay, you see. This is the bowl that Xu Yuanzhong used. Make old copper bowls. Response. Worth 50. Can't afford it. Keep this bowl for dinner. But this stone on your waist. Not small. Although the material is miscellaneous, at least it looks good. Do you want this shit? 50 yuan as an ornament. 1 million. A broken stone. Sell 1 million. Wear it and keep it for the rest of your life. Hey, don't go. Such a large stone carving. Only 50. I tell. Up to 100. Okay, you take 100. Hey, thanks bro. I bought this broken stone. It only cost $5, you fool. This stone. It's made of fine material. What? Dare to rob. My people are already waiting for me nearby. Don't look for trouble. Oh, dear. Okay. Hang up first. Mr. Yang, you pointed out the plate marked with the wrong year last time. My grandpa asked a friend to review it. It's really as you said, it was genuine in the Ming Dynasty. Mr. Lin has flattered you. I would like to invite you to take a look at this jade again today. This is Huang Qin size ancient beast face card. Worth 100,000. I'm sure it's the real thing. If you are willing to accept, I just 80,000. Hey, the rules of the antique shop. The offer should be fair. I will buy it for 100,000. Thanks. 100,000 yuan received by the bank card. All right. Now. Finally got rich. Treated my grandfather. You treated grandpa. How much is the difference? Nothing is enough. Nothing is enough. I've just turned around. Such a capable person. Still a dutiful son. Mr. Yang, let's add a contact information. Maybe later. Will we continue to cooperate? Since Mr. Lin, you have opened your mouth. Come, I scan you. Don't call me Mr. Lin in the future. So different. However, Mr. Yang, will it? I happen to be going south. Take a look at the jade market. I heard that a new batch of materials has arrived. Stone betting? Yes. Mr. Yang on this. Also understand, slightly understand. I have clairvoyance. Don't you need to understand? You can tell at a glance which stone makes money. Stone gambling. May I go with Miss Lin? Yes, let's go. Okay. Genuine red jade material, worth 100,000. White leather spring color material, genuine, 200,000. Genuine black sand, 200,000. I'll go. All high ice jadeite. Aren't these three going to make me crazy? Mr. Yang, do you have any materials you like? Oh? Take a look at a few, but they are all average materials. You haven't got it yet. You can see. Could it be that? You have clairvoyant vision. It's a feeling. These few. It looks like something. Ouch, cousin. Where did you find the magic stick? Do you think there is jade with just a finger? Lin Yuing. Pay attention to your words. This is Mr. Yang Zhuang. Very good eyesight. You apologize to him immediately. Never heard of it. Dressed like this, you dare to gamble on stones. If you can pick out the jade. I bought it for you 10 times the price. Boss. I'll take these 3, cutting stones on the spot. What good can come out of 3 broken stones? Cousin. He has a shit eye. Your friend was accidentally tricked, right? Lin Yuing. Be honest with me. Cousin, why are you protecting him? I've never heard of it. There is a man named Yang Zhuang there. Out. Boss, look, all 3 pieces are out. This is impossible. Miss Lin, please explain to Lin Yuing. These? How much is it worth? These 3 materials can all be opened. It's already rare. If all are processed, it should be sold. 1 million. Tenfold. That's 10 million. What? 10 million. 10 million. You didn't say it yourself. Buy it at 10 times the price? It doesn't even count. Sister, please help me. Mr. Yang, why don't you let my cousin go? To compensate you. The material this time. I'll give you as much as you sell. Since it was Miss Lin who spoke, I will naturally let him go. But please, help me sell these jade stones. Mr. Yang is really generous. Do you hear me? Why don't you apologize to Mr. Yang quickly? Sorry, Mr. Yang. Get out. Mr. Yang. I can call you right now 500,000. The rest of the money. Just let me put these stones. Take it back for processing. Sell slowly. Thank you very much, Miss Lin. You're welcome. Mr. Yang, do you have any arrangements later? Fang is inconvenient. Let's have a meal. Miss Lin's invitation. Of course I have no reason to refuse. You're welcome. Let's go then. Hey that. What about these materials? I'll have someone pick it up later. Here. Looks pretty good on you. It should be expensive. How are you? A meal costs only tens of thousands of dollars. Or does Miss Lin have the strength? Although I have the strength. But Mr. Yang, obviously more powerful. It sounds like Miss Lin seems to have something to say. In a few days, there is a treasure appraisal meeting. I wonder if Mr. Yang would like to go. In the eyes of Mr. Yang, you can definitely make a lot of money. Miss Lin's invitation, I will definitely go. With my eyesight. Maybe you can pick up a big leak then. I knew Mr. Yang would definitely go. Then this meal. Just a little thank you. If you meet any baby then, please also ask Mr. Yang to tell me. Also let me have some soup with Mr. Yang. No problem. Collaborating with Miss Lin. It's my pleasure. Come. Respect our cooperation. Respect our cooperation. Mr. Yang. Did anyone say? Your eyes? Very charming. You are the first. Send me. Go home. But I don't know where your home is. That? You send me to nearest hotel. Hug me. Like someone called you. Oh, dear. Leave him alone. Can you give me a hug? Are you sure about that? It looks like your grandfather called you. Hello, Grandpa. I'll be right home. How could I stay up all night? Oh good. That. I'll go home first. You're not drunk? Of course I'm drunk. That. Wait a minute. I'll send you the address of the auction. You remember to come. Okay. I will definitely go. See you. Who are you? This is not the place for you. Who is this guy? So shabby. Come to the wrong place. The bodyguard was right. This is not where he came from at all. This is the treasure appraiser I specially invited. Yang Zhuang, Mr. Yang. Don't let it go. Sorry, Mr. Yang, I didn't recognize you just now. You don't even know me. How could he possibly recognize me? Let's go inside. Okay. Everyone. This one, it's Mr. Yang, I always tell everyone. He is also coming to the auction today. You are Mr. Yang. Look. Young and promising him. Of course. Mr. Yang has a very good eye. As soon as he sees, you can tell the difference between the real and the fake baby. As long as he is there, can guarantee as today. Can't buy counterfeits. Why is there a counterfeit today? I am Wang Yang, member of the Beijing Treasure Appraisal Association. I'm here today, just to prevent this auction. Everyone got a counterfeit. As for this Mr. Yang, he stood by. Just watch. Mr. Wang said it well. Because I just have to watch. You can tell if it's true or false. Just don't know, Mr. Wang. Will it? Responsible for the antique sold today. Or say, just looking around. I missed it. Not responsible at all. This person is too arrogant. Is he more powerful than Mr. Wang? Come on. If so, let's do it now. Today's auction. Please welcome the first collection. This collection. It is a porcelain bowl from the Qing dynasty. It's also for you today. Appetizer. Value. 10,000 yuan. Everyone here. I want to take it back. Is it for daily use? Minglongking blue and white baby play bowl. Authentic value 1 million. I'll take this bowl. $12,000. $3,000. Everyone. So this is actually a serving bowl. There's no need to rob me. In that case, this baby was bought by Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang seems in a hurry. This is my stuff. Of course I want to get it ASAP. Is there a problem? Is there anything special about this bowl? The real value of this bowl is 1 million. This useless guy. Also mistaken. It seems that this master. Also in vain. Hard to say. Let's see what happens next. Can you recognize it? It would be real for fake. Next, pretend the fake is real. It's interesting. So let's get started. Auction of the second collection. This collection is genuine. Mingxuan blue and white porcelain. The starting price is 1.50 million. Each increase must not be less than 100,000. Let's start bidding below. 1.60 million, 1.70 million, 2 million. Hey. What's up? What's wrong with this? It's not true. Now, this expert has an average eye. This gentleman 2.50 million. Is there more than 2.50 million? 2.50 million deal. Hurry up and bring the baby over. Congratulations to this guest. Shoot Mingxuan blue and white porcelain. This guest. Thank you for your choice. This collection is also quite valuable. You keep it. Enjoy it. Of course this thing can only be left to enjoy. What do you mean? Come on. Everything else is counterfeit. 17. Stop. Why do you say these collections are counterfeit? Is this in my hand also fake? Certainly. And it can be very easy. Help you prove. You lunatic. This thing is worth over 2 million. You just dropped it. Do you really think you don't have to compensate? You still have it yourself. Take a good look. Ah. What kind of trash is it this time? Just a fake. This is in the application. It can only be regarded as defective. Why is Mr. Wang silent? Is everything that was just shot fake? 2.5 million. 205 is enough. Auction. Something is wrong. Why did Mr. Yu fall back? Not good. Kill. Bodyguard, take Mr. Wang to the hospital quickly. How could you possibly see that? Why can't I see it? If you make Mr. Wang angry, at least, at that time, you are the only one to ask. Tell me again. I see you still think too much. Hurry up and take Mr. Wang to see a doctor. Otherwise, who will be held accountable? It's hard to say. Help me up. I will continue. Post this auction. This collection is absolutely authentic. I absolutely don't allow it. This yellow mount child. Nonsense here. This blue and white porcelain bowl from the Ming Dynasty. It is the only genuine product on site, but you sold it as a Qing Dynasty. If you really want to auction, just take it to the auction. You? I'm afraid of selling Mr. Wang. Hold on. Hey, it's really a waste of time, I thought. An auction with Wang Yang in charge. There will be more genuine products. I didn't expect it to be fake. It has to be Mr. Yang. Although Mr. Yang, also here for the auction. But no Mr. Yang. Identify the authenticity of antiques. We're all going to be tricked. Yes. I just wanted to come and see. Is there anything good, baby? But who would have thought he can mistake the fake for the real, and mistook the real for the fake? So boring. Then you this time. It's fame and fortune. It's not up to you. Without you, I can't even get in. Or do you have good eyesight? You have this ability. Later. It's the same with or without me. Then this bowl. Come and help me sell it. Okay. The money to sell then. Hey. Needless to say, you deserve it. Besides, I don't like this 1 million. Or is Mr. Lin rich? Don't call me Mr. Lin. Multiple offspring. Just call me Yin Yin. Yin Yin. Everyone, I talked to Mr. Yang. About to leave. Please help yourself. All right, 1 million. It has been transferred to your account so soon? No, I'm fast. It's your treasure appraisal ability that is fast enough. If ordinary people, I certainly won't take one side of the story. At least ask Grandpa. Even without asking Grandpa, I will also ask other masters to see, but you are different. I believe you. Yes, I can never be wrong. In the future, this kind of treasure appraisal meeting, you must find me more often. Treasure Appraisal Society. Not anymore. But recently, there is a special auction. Auction of disputed items. Do you want to go? Disputed item. What do you mean? Can't tell if it's true or false, right? I just can't tell if it's true or false. They need to be more professional, more famous people. Or with the help of some more professional instruments to test. So this kind of auction. Also known as the leak picking club. But I don't have the ability. You will only lose everything if you go in. Then I must go and see. Maybe. You can see a lot of good babies. This is an auction specially for me to pick up leaks. When does it start? Don't worry. 2 days left. I'll let you know when I'm ready. How about these 2 days? You have a good rest. You can see the car you like. This 1 million. Buying a house is not enough. But buying a car is definitely enough. I also want to go to the Jade Market. I'm also good at gambling stones. Jade Market. Hey. Exactly. This is a private party. If you want to see it, I'll take you there now. Let's go. It will definitely ship this time. Open this. This is absolutely fine. Garbage again. Don't you look good? I want this. Don't rob me. Open, 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 open. Open, 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 open. This time, it's definitely good. How did it go? Waste again. I'll go. You boy. Said it would be fine. Pay me back. Is it that loud in here? Private parties are more open. I will pay back the money later. But these people. I'm also playing stone gambling. I'll give you a chance. Don't lose control. If I don't see the money tomorrow, you don't even think about being here. Hang out in the city. Roll. Isn't this Miss Lin? Who am I? Can come in directly. Look at Miss Lin's gorgeous dress. It's definitely not for me, is it? It wasn't. But now it is. This Mr. Yang next to me. Have a special perspective on stone gambling. Mr. Yang, I am one of the 3 major families in Qingcheng. Wu Jie of the Wu family. What about our family? Mainly the main stone, and the stone gambling business. Here it is. It's also a small place where I make money. Since Mr. Yang is here, why don't you pick one? These are my high prices. Received stone. There is a high probability of opening a good product. That one just now. Kicked out by you. What's going on? Him. Just bad luck. I'm just saying, there is a greater probability of opening good goods. Didn't say. Is it 100%? Thunder splicing material. 200,000. Wax shell green material. It's worth 150,000. Conhuang jade water stone. 250,000. This, and this. Just these three. Please cut it for me, sir. You don't look carefully. Just stand here. Just a few glances. It's confirmed. I want to tell you beforehand. I am here. No matter how big the stone you choose. Each stone 100,000, whether it's open or not. This money can't be less. If it comes out, this jade is yours. If you can't open it, this money is non-refundable. Wu Jie, what do you mean? Do you think? I don't even 300,000. Can't afford it. I just... To the new Mr. Yang. Tell us about our rules. Just these three. Go ahead, choose Mr. Yang. These three stones, take it down. 2. Shall we go there together? See what you can get. No, nothing else. I hate the sound of the cutter. After opening, just bring the stone. This time it's new. It is said that it will never fail. Mr. Yang's first shot. Do you think all parties are like this? These guys look like no different from a gambler. Birds of a feather flock together. Wu Jie is a restless master. So he is here. They are all wild people. And as long as you pay the entrance fee of 100,000, anyone can come in. He doesn't care who you are. In that pile of stones, how many good things are there? Those three. It's the only good product. Everything else is rubbish. In my opinion. Even worse. Jade market hawkers are good. Sure enough, I knew it. This WAN can't be so kind. It's actually wax shell green material. The other two are also good materials. All three came out well. Mr. Yang, do you have some patience? How is that possible? All three won. This looks familiar to me. I met him at the Jade Market. He was also a three-way middle school at that time. How did you manage it? Why don't you help me take a look again? No, nothing else can catch my eye. Just these three. The price of these rough stones. But 600,000. I didn't lie to you, did I? Really not worth much. Stone gambling still depends too much on luck. Is hundreds of thousands not money? I don't know when Mr. Wu will be. Can you give me the money? Mr. Yang is really joking. I'm only responsible for it. Opening and selling stones. If you want to sell rough stones, I think it will be handled by Miss Lin. More suitable. Pack this stone. Leave it to the two of you. Just send it to my company later. And Mr. Wu. The stones you have here are really not that good. What can be better? This Wu Jie wouldn't have done it before. Keep tricking us. I already feel that way. What about the high explosive rate of stones? I think it's a bottomless pit. Who's right about this kind of thing? But I'm still prepared. Another batch of better stones. Come and bring them in for me. Rough jadeite stone weighs 1 cat. Value 1.40 million. I want this one, Mr. Yang. I think this stone is good. It's got a nice glow. Light. It doesn't matter. Go and help me cut this stone. What kind of good baby is in here? At least half are jadeite. Wu Xiao, take a look at this. It looks good. Out. Jingran is a raw jadeite stone weighing 1 catty. Oh, my god, 1 catty of rough stones. How much is this worth? Hundreds of thousands, millions. Mr. Yang. How on earth did you see that? I told you from the beginning. It's eyesight. If only by eyesight. Then I want this eyesight too. Take it. This piece, it's not cheap. This raw jadeite stone, plus the 3 pieces just open. That adds up to at least 2 million. Do the math like this. I made 3 million today. Yes. In such a short time, you've already made 3 million. Mr. Yang, I still have a lot of stones here. Why don't you help me take a look again? Wu Jie, what do you mean? Dig people in front of me, right? You are not Mr. Yang. Why do you restrict him? Mr. Yang. Or leave it to you to decide. Do you even think about it? Yin. Hey. Did everyone see it? Mr. Yang is with me. A catty of raw jadeite stone was open. Who says I don't have good stuff here? Who am I in a hurry with? I'll take a look again. This is absolutely good. This is what I saw first. Don't rob me. How do I feel? It did help him promote away. There's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do next? I'm going to buy a car. Every time I take your car, quite inappropriate. All right then, you can give me a ride in your car later. Then let's go together. I don't have that kind of time. This time I'm here to it's already an extra trip. Next, I want to go back to the company to deal with work. Then we'll see you at the auction another day. Okay, the money for this stone. Go back to me and transfer the block to your account. Okay. Hey. Brother. Lin Ruoyin is a famous beauty. How did you get her? Just rely on my eyes. Don't be so vigilant. I just wanted to ask you. Do you want to make a lot of money? You? How do I feel? You can't come up with anything. What about regular channels? If I'm not mistaken. You should be from the one just now. Come to the private auction. What's in there? It's all unknown. You want to say. Those are smuggled goods. Did you rob the tomb? We don't do illegal things. Is that so? Our house is always opening stones. So there is a huge amount of stone. I need people like you to see it. I'll give it to you tonight. 5 million. And you can take one piece a day. The stone you want. There's 5 million night. And you can also pick a piece. It's not good for one night. There will be a 10,000 level entry. Dude, that 5 million a fraction. Jargo, you chose a good rough stone. Find another processing master to process it. This night. Is the income of tens of millions not a problem? That sounds really good. But it needs to be reconsidered. Brother, what are you hesitating about? If you earn tens of millions in one night. If you work for a few days in a row, that's not $1 billion. You don't have to say that. I said it needs to be considered. That is to be considered. Okay, but this is a huge opportunity. And my house is a stone opened in the sky, but a lot of them. The quality is definitely not here comparable. Even if it can be open. Rough stones worth hundreds of millions. It's not impossible. I will think about it. I hope you can think about it. If you have a plan, call directly. Would you like it? I'll ask someone below to drive you back. No, I'm going to buy a car. What kind of car does Mr. Yang plan to buy? Big G, of course. I've been jealous for a long time. Hello, Yang Zhuang. Didn't you say you wanted to buy a car before? When will you pick me up? I'm downstairs at the company right now. Why don't you look to your right? Ling 8 times 88888. What do you think of the car? You are too good at picking cars. I wanted to buy this car before. Then you buy it? It's not expensive for you either. That's not appropriate. After all, I still have business to do. It's too ostentatious. Not much to say. You get in the car first. I'll take you to the treasure fair. Miss Lin is here. But the servant by your side. Who is it again? He's not a servant. He is Yang Zhuang. That Wang Yang. Yang Zhuang who fell down. It was him. Yeah. Wang Yang is not as skilled as others. There's not much to say. But today, let's take a look. My 4 paintings. You be careful. Wu Jing is from the Treasure Appraisal Association. Senior appraiser. Best at reading calligraphy and painting. But this old woman. It's notoriously mean. Never miss. Neither. When I first entered the industry. Also missed. But then almost. No more mistakes. Okay, I see. You said these 4 paintings. You picked them all yourself. What do you mean? I think I would be in this kind of thing. Make choices that are beneficial to me. I'll tell you what. This treasure appraisal competition is a choice within the association. It has nothing to do with me. Absolute justice and fairness. And after our appraisal is completed, someone will say it's true or false. You won't know in advance whether each painting is true or false. After all, you are a member of the association. Does anyone in this association know? Is it a game? Kid, why are you asking so much? Compare or not? Certainly. But what good is it to me? If you can beat me, I will allow you. Pick up a calligraphy and painting here. Okay, then let's go on stage and see. The calligraphy and painting inside anyone is at the level of tens of millions. Wu Qing really paid for it this time. That's a little too much. In all fairness, the association didn't agree, so did it. If Wu Qing loses, don't you have to pay out of your own pocket, along with the people of the association? Let's lose face together. Please invite us to the first calligraphy and painting. Who knows if it's true or not this time? Zhong Deiqian Jingcheng looking south, vertical axis calligraphy and painting. The real thing is worth 9 million. It's the real thing. It's Zhong Dagan's Jingcheng south view. This kid is too fast. Wu Qin is still there watching. That's what he said. Well, it's true. This painting is real. Ouch, it's true. This painting is real. These two have very good eyesight. Want me to say, or is Mr. Yang stronger? Please have a second calligraphy and painting. Modern galloping map, worth 2. It's not true. It's not Xu Beihong's galloping horse map. I can see it. What a cow. It's true. It's Xu Beihong's galloping horse. Rice paper is from the Republic of China. The technique is also entirely Xu Beihong's technique. Ink color is also right. Even the details of the seal, also correct. It seems we have a disagreement. Stop arguing. Let the host reveal the answer directly. This one is fake. The undefeated myth of Ms. Guo. Is it going to be broken? There are no undefeated myths. Didn't she miss it in her early years? How is that possible? Nothing is impossible. But it seems that the association is still quite reputable. They trust you. Please invite the third calligraphy and painting. Modern orphan bird diagram. Worth 1,000. Fake, not real orphan bird picture. This kid is too fast. Wu Qin has to watch it for a long time. He looked and decided. Yang Zhuang is the whole Qing Cheng, the best treasure appraiser. Unlike these last people. This kid got lucky. This is also fake. It's not true. Ms. Guo seems to be a little underwhelmed. Why don't we take a break? Don't tell me. Let's move on to the next one. Please bring the fourth painting. Anonymous in Ming Dynasty. Snow Scene Cold Forest Map. The real thing is worth 10 million. This painting is fake. The model print has been damaged. The color on the surface is also wrong. Hey, why don't you talk? I disagree with you. I think this is true. And so forth. And I think that's true. The previous failure. It has made her lose confidence in herself. You also think it's true? Are you sure? I think. It's not true. It's all fake. This painting is real. Ms. Guo, you okay? Scram. You cheating villain. You must have come here early. Saw the answer in advance. You'd better think this through. What are you talking about? I don't accept it. I'm going to have another round with you. Win of 3. She can't afford to lose. Okay, it can be compared to more than 100 times. But you have to keep your promise first. What promise? Ms. Guo forgot. You promised us. As long as we win, you can take away a real calligraphy and painting. Why don't you call? Take her to the hospital. You fight. Make a call. This mean old woman. I was myself today. I was so pissed. Do you like Yin Yin's calligraphy and painting? Like? Because of this. But the key to your victory. This is 10 million calligraphy and painting. You just gave it to me. So what? I don't like collecting antiques. I just like money. This calligraphy and painting and that bronze tripod. Please help me sell it. I'll sell the bronze tripod for you. My grandfather is very fond of calligraphy and painting. I will give this painting to my grandfather later. At that time, I will transfer these two money to you together. Million. There you go. By the way, Yang Zhuang, do you have any plans for a while? Certainly. I'm going to check out the house. Look at the house. That's good. My family's business. There are real estate projects. The largest villa area in Qingcheng. It's mine. I don't know if it's okay. Please ask Mr. Lin to be my salesperson. Let me be your salesperson. How does this work? All right. I'll find anyone. Sales. Hey. I didn't say no to your sales. Come on. I knew it. You won't refuse. I thought I said it. Don't you like to be disturbed? Mr. Lin, I didn't know it was you. How is this villa? This is our side. The best house ever. Okay, this is our entire villa complex. The largest villa. There are not only gardens around and a swimming pool. Again, we are inside. Separate gym. And inside the underground garage, it's really spacious. Enough to park your luxury cars. Is there anything special about that? In addition to that, we are targeting this villa. A group of 5 maids was established. All young and capable women. They are primarily responsible for daily cleaning and operation of the villa. Again, we can also take care of your food and clothing. Manager? You said it well. Don't say it. Go quickly. A good customer is God. Really, Wing? I'm by your side. What else do you say about the maid of 5? I have to take care of your food and clothing. Then why don't we want it? You don't. I'm not a jealous woman. After all, I don't take care of people either. I'm just a spoiled miss. Oh, really? Then let them come. Otherwise, such a big villa. Have to find someone else to deal with it. Hey, what's wrong? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Since it's okay, let's go in. This house. It's really all aspects, all taken into account, of course. This is a $20 million house. Nature takes everything into account. Just buy it. You can check in the same day. Just need it. Just add some personal items. 20 million? I thought you showed me. Is it a 10 million house? My man. Isn't it worthy of the best? How do I feel about what you said? It's like I was taken care of. How could this be? At that time, just keep making money. But I don't think you need to pay it back at all. How long will you be staying here? How long? How can that be? We are not husband and wife after all. We are certainly not husband and wife. But I've always felt that. Mr. Yang has both charm. Also very capable. Don't reject me. Okay, I should go. Company. There are still many things waiting for me to deal with. Starting a company is too tiring. Why don't you come and join me? I just picked it up. Enough to live on. It was my choice. Again. I don't want to be a vase. Okay, I'm leaving. Who is Yin Yin? Hello, Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang, we are your team of maids. I am the head maid. I'll go. The manager didn't lie. The maid of the maid team. It's really good. You cleaned the room. Mr. Yang, we also prepared some breakfast for you. But I don't know your taste. So be prepared, more. Okay, I'll go take a look. Oh, dear, how hearty. This is the enjoyment of life. Beautiful wife. Big house. And a handsome car. And a group. Servant at my command. What are you doing here? I'll serve you. If you have anything you want to eat, just ask. I and other sisters will make it for you. No. That's enough. Can you get me a piece of paper? Give it to me. I'll wipe it for you. Not bad, not bad. Please take these out. I don't need it anymore, okay? Who was that? Yin Yin. Hello, there is something wrong with Yangzhuang Company. Funding is urgently needed. Then you put the calligraphy and painting, and the bronze tripod sold first. Make up for it. I knew I could count on you. But how can I waste your money? You are my woman. I will naturally help you. But can you tell me? What the hell is going on? Do you remember Lin Yuing? This bastard actually wants to separate. He wants to split the whole capital in half. I was by your side yesterday. He took the opportunity to hide it from everyone, and other companies signed many contracts. Your cousin is really ignorant. How much more money do you need now? You tell me. At least 50 million more is needed. I know recently there are several auctions going on. Although I may not have that much expensive baby, but at least can solve the problem in front of you. I have a way. I can solve it for you in a few days. I hang up first. Who are you? I don't know this point. Is Ben playing with women? I am Yang Zhuang. Yang Zhuang. Have you figured it out? Yes, I need money urgently now. Let me guess. Is it because Lin Yuing, that little brat, I'll tell you what, is not a good thing. Let's not talk about that. Yes, I am. Yin Yin must be alright. You'd better tell me quickly. Where can I show you the stone? I'll send you the location. I'll be there later. Let's meet and talk when we get there. Hang up first. Mr. Yang, I knew it. You will definitely remember me. Hey. The smell of perfume on you. It's so heavy. Oh, dear. It's all the women's fault. Always like to cover up the stench on my body. I can't help it either. Is this the stone I want to see? Right. The conditions are the same as before. Are you interested? Look at me. Why don't you follow Mr. Yang? Maybe these stones. Mr. Yang can finish reading it in one day. Yes. You said I could take one with me, right? Certainly. Could it be that Mr. Yang has already chosen? Jade Emperor Green Rough Stone Genuine. This one. Please help me open it. And Mr. Wu. Don't lie to me. I know how much these stones are worth. Of course. After all, with Mr. Yang's help, our family can make a lot of money. And what are you still doing? The stone Mr. Yang pointed to. Why don't you take it and cut it? Okay. Grinding. Mr. Yang. No? What else do you see? Give me the marker. It's too efficient. How much would that save? Looking back, you have to earn more money. Wu Xiao. It's on. It's on. What's out? Jade Emperor Green. What? Let me see it. Such a big piece of Jadeite Emperor Green. At least worth $1 million. After this is processed. Not hundreds of millions. Inside. It's all marked. So soon? There are not many in stock. And this stone is worth hundreds of millions. Can you give me the money now? That's too much. I want to ask about my family. Then you hurry up and call. Hey. Hey, here's the thing. Okay. Mr. Yang, my family agree. $1 million is on the way. See if this rough stone can. It's arrived. I will give you the rough stone. Mr. Yang, it will take a while to expedite this. Why don't you give it to me first? That's not possible. I want to see the money now. Let's wait here for a while. What are you still doing? The 2 stones Mr. Yang pointed to. If you don't take it, hurry up and open it. Take these other scraps. Throw it all away for me, yes. Yang Zhuang. The Wu family gave me 50,000 yuan. Say it's part of your advance. Actually directly, it's on your account. That would be fine. All troubles can be solved now. Right. There is no need to sell the previous antiques. This money. Enough for me to fight back. Then you go to work first. I'll hang up first. Yo. Didn't Mr. Yang say? Do you have to wait for the payment to arrive before giving it to me? This Wu family is still capable. I want the money after all. Just for solve problems for my woman. Mr. Lin's ability. It's there for all to see. If not a daughter. Definitely the head of the Lin family. But don't worry, Mr. Yang. Mr. Lin took the money. It will definitely double your money back. My 50,000 yuan has also arrived. I'll go find my Yin Yin first. See you next time. Mr. Lin, be sure to come again next time. Maybe we can open it again. A piece of Imperial Green. It's not that simple. Emperor Green. It doesn't come out every day. I'm leaving first. Walk slowly. Lin Ruyin, what have you done? Give me my money back. Didn't I do what you wanted? Is splitting the whole company in 2. Only. Left for you. Only an empty shell. You crazy woman. Are you going to destroy the Lin family? You are destroying the entire Lin family. Lin Yuing. What are you doing here? Who are you? Why are you here? He's my man. Not only am I his. Even my entire company. Also his. You say. Why can't he come? Lin Ruyin. Are you going to put? Did the entire Lin family give in? It was you who took control of the company first. stripped from the entire family. It's pretty good now. I have become completely independent, carefree. It's you. Can you clean it up? This mess. You wait for me. I won't let you go. Yin Yin. You just said. This whole company is mine. Of course, yeah, and not only that. I have earned it for you, so, 100 million. Lin Yuying. Stupid guy. I took a trick. Let his plan go to waste. 100 million. Okay. This account. Already on the way. Your account is on its way. Oh, right. I also plan to let our company. Then turn to antiques and the jade industry, at that time. You take control. The most chair people. In that case, we'll definitely get stronger. Have my eyes. Everything will be fine. Yes, you are here. The future is ours. Who? It's Wu Jie. Oops, ignore him. Or, let's hear what he has to say. After all, he just made a hit. Key money. Hello Wu Jie. Why did you give it to me again? I called, Mr. Yang. No? Do you have time recently? Tell him. You don't have time. You don't have time. You have to accompany me. No. I want to accompany my woman. Oh, is that so? How about tomorrow? Hey, Dad, don't rob it. You are Mr. Yang, right? I am his father Wu Ying. He is also the head of the Wu family. I heard Wu Jie say your eyesight is quite powerful. I want to talk to you. Maybe later on. There is an opportunity for cooperation. You can promise him this time, since it is the invitation of the Wu family head. Then I must be kind. Okay. I'll be waiting for you at Wu's house. How are you? And suddenly I said yes. I thought, do you want me to spend more time with you? Wu Jie is a playboy. A little brain but not much. But his dad was different. Besides, I just said to take the entire company towards the antique and jade industries. Their family is in this regard much better than us. So it was for cooperation. Right. If you want to make money, it must be that the more doors, the better. Let's do it, now. Well, it's not. You can make them wait. Block this first. So he can't see anything. Oops, Dad. Why do you want me to do this? And I told you. Mr. Yang. Really good. Hey, if he is really that good, we can't let outsiders do it. You should do it yourself. Said we did it ourselves. In the end, no, I do it alone. What did you just say? You keep moving stones. Put the rough stone of that glass kind. Get me something else. Rotten stones blocked. Ahaha. Hello Miss Lin. Ha ha ha. This one. Presumably recently, famous. Yang Zhuang, Mr. Yang. He is now. Also my fiancé. Oh ho ho, celebrate you in advance. Mr. Yang. Please come this time, mainly to see your eyesight. How exactly? After all, hearing is false. Seeing is believing. I can understand that. It seems, the pile of stones, it's a test of my eyesight. Ah, certainly, Mr. Yang. IF. Can you find, where are the rough stones? Then that rough stone. It's yours. Later? We also cooperate with you. Ha ha ha. Okay, then I'll take a look. Okay, ha ha. Dad? Rough stones worth 40 to 50 million. Send it if you say so. Oh, dear. Can you be more stable? And you might not be able to tell. Rough glass seed stone. The real thing is worth 100 million. Such a big glass species. The Wu family is really willing. Yo. It seems. There has been a decision. Wu clan master. You have to keep your word. My father's words must be true. Inside this pile of stones, there is one of the largest rough stones. It's blocked. But it is the most valuable. Because it is a raw glass stone. Value. 100 million. 100 million. This? How is that possible? That's so expensive. Didn't you say tens of millions? It's over. I'm losing money. Give me the marker. According to, cut where I draw the line. Ganwon. Don't hurt my glass seed stone. Okay. Then our father and son will cut it. It's another billion. This time, we make more money. Okay. This 100 million is handed over to you. I believe in your ability. Company. Sure to earn more. That also takes time. Not like you. At a glance, so much value. That's too much. This is a $1 billion stone. Morning. You can also find a master. Process it. Make some money. This is now, not even a hair. Send it as you say. What are you crying for? Ha ha ha. Wu Clan Master. No? How is my eyesight? Oh, dear. Mr. Yang's eyesight is simply unique in the world. Ha ha ha. I will contact the Lin family now. No, nothing else. I'm with the Lins now. It doesn't matter anymore. They say married daughters. It's water thrown out. I am now. People are from Yangzhuang. The company is also from Yangzhuang. I want a wife like that too. Stop talking. I didn't expect Miss Lin. How dare you? All right. Later. Our Wu family. Cooperation with the Yang family. This stone. I'll deliver it later. Your company goes. That. Wish us in advance. Happy cooperation. Hey, okay. Happy cooperation. Ha ha ha. I have seen the most glorious future, of course. Mr. Yang. I have another one. Big trouble to deal with. This is also what I need. The reason for Mr. Yang? Oh? What's the trouble? 2 Koreans. Before we talk about cooperation, they want to see the ability of my appraisers. The first 2 times were small movements. Cause failure. And they took the opportunity to ask. Later involve identification of precious rough stones. All must be adopted. Their people came to see. How can this be? Collaborate after that. Isn't it their talk? The price of a precious rough stone. They can be in the hundreds of millions. Oh, dear, yes. This? Me. I want Mr. Yang. Get back again for me. Mr. Yang. The 2 Koreans. Not easy to deal with. My man shot. Naturally no problem. Mr. Wu, just tell me. Where are they? There they are. Stay at a nearby hotel. I'll contact them right away. Let them come to the Wu family. Talk about business. Mr. Yang. You this time. Be harsh. Teach them a lesson. Otherwise, they won't be obedient. Working with you. Wu Clan Master. Don't worry. I certainly won't spare them. Okay. Wu Jie. You take the 2 of you to the company first. I'll go back. Okay, Mr. Yang. Mrs. Yang. There we go. Please. Have a seat. These Koreans. Shiba. How come at this time? Come to me. I don't know, Master Liu Yu. Are you busy? We are not saying. Are you coming after an ordinary day? You are so disrupting our itinerary. I'm all about fire. As the person in charge of this thing. It's not that simple. It's over. We this time. But please, the best treasure appraiser in Qingcheng. Shiba. We just got in touch with Qingcheng treasure appraiser, vice president of the association, after dinner. He also said he was the best treasure appraiser in Qingcheng. Why don't you and the vice president? Let's learn. Who won? We work with people. If you talk about cooperation. In a minute. Without talking about cooperation, just get out of here. And don't take one bite at a time. Yell at me. Before, many of you didn't see it. Since you are new here, then take your time. But this is our last chance. If you still can't see it, next time look at the stone. It's up to our people to see. And negotiated funding must be lowered. Okay. High imitation imperial green rough stone. Eagle. Worth 100. Etienne Wang Yu. Genuine. $120 million. Rough jadeite. Genuine. $10 million. So boring. It's too simple. What nonsense are you talking about? If you can guess them all right, I'll let you pick any piece and take it away. Good idea. The one on the left is fake. The rest It's the truth. Ha ha ha. You got it wrong. The one on the left is real. The one on the right is fake. Ha ha ha. True or false? Cut it open and see, don't you know? Since Korean friends are so generous, then I'll take the middle one. Woo jie. Go help me turn it on. Okay. My friend. Nonsense. Mr. Yang. But don't take it seriously. How? You Koreans talk. Is it fart? ACI bar. I speak. Of course it's true, Smector. It's worth it. 120 million Hetien Wang Yu. Asiba. That's not possible. You must be mistaken. What's wrong? This stone. But you brought it yourself. How? Not all of them were brought before. Do you have any stones without good rough stones? Before cutting. I'm not 100% sure either, Smector. We can fool them. Buy the fake regal green. 2. Won't regret it. You just picked one. The other two. You are mistaken. Wrong. You say. This imperial green, it's the truth. This stone was originally, as, after our cooperation is successful, let you buy it at a discount. But now, you took it as a counterfeit. Humph. Do you have purple light? Yes. Please take a good look. Is this real or not? Since it is fake. I just cut it open. This stone. This fake. It's outrageous. Humph. After that. Appraiser. It must be one of us. Any comments? That's okay. Our big deal. Find someone else. Ching Cheng for sure. They are not the only one. You may not know it yet. Our Wu family. It is the largest treasure appraiser in Ching Cheng. Unless you get out of here. If you leave. I'm afraid so. The plan arranged with your headquarters. Inconsistent. We can also find the Lins. Heard. Lin family. For antiques and jade. They dabbled. Believe that with our support. Your Wu family. It's never going to go that well. Yin Yin. As. You tell them well. Who are you? I am Lin Ruyin of the Lin family. But. Now. I am already Mr. Young's fiancé. So. You'd better call me Mrs. Young. Several. How's it going? Dad. This Mr. Yang has opened. Worth 120 million Hetien Wang Yu. Hetien Wang Yu. Oh, dear. I feel that as soon as Mr. Yang comes out, it's just extraordinary. That's not enough. Wu Clan Master, you are still fine. Discuss it with these two. How should we discuss cooperation in the future? Appraiser. Lu Yu. Person in charge. Full fighting fire. 2. We go to the conference room. Let's talk about it. They just left. You just said. This stone is also real. They dare not ask for it. Yang Zhuang. That one? What is it? This is authentic emerald green. But the price is not high. 20 million. Mr. Yang, this is. Give it to me. Yes. Are we partners? Okay. Later, listen to Mr. Yang. All right. You will accompany your father. Celebrate slowly. I also want to be with my Yin Yin. Went to eat. See you another day. Mr. Yang. Mrs. Yang. You go slowly. I just said to celebrate. I didn't say I want to buy new clothes. Don't you think this is also a celebration anyway? And what are you doing? How long will you be wearing this dress? Didn't I say? As far as I can see, forget about wearing old clothes. Even if wear panties and a big vest, others should also be respectful. Give me a call, Mr. Yang. Okay. Of course you can. But I don't like it. That. I'll listen to you. Miss Lin. The last time you bought clothes, that was last year. This time, still choosing for my cousin. Or according to, I originally planned to buy it. What are you going to do? It doesn't matter. This time, It's for my husband to choose clothes. His name is Yang Shuang. I didn't expect Miss Lin. All famous flowers have owners. Congratulations to Mr. Yang. That. We still. Pick your clothes first. This is Miss Lin's home court. I only act as a rack to help carry clothes, that's it. All right, go for it. What? I picked so many clothes. How long does this take to try? You used to let me try on clothes. I'm not unhappy. How? I can't do it instead. Just forget it. It's a little too late today. Well, we still. Change your clothes and go back. All right. But. I remember. Why are you following me? Why can't I follow? Am I not your woman? Why didn't you find it before? You have now become. He likes me more and more. You weren't like this before. So what? I like my husband. Is there anything else wrong? That won't work either. You still. Wait outside. This fitting room is too small. Wow. How did it go? Turn around. How did it go? Husband, you are so handsome. This is not at home. Is this in the store? Right. Let's hurry home then. How? There will be no hurry. Let me try on clothes. I'm not in a hurry. Wait until home. Clothes you can try on. More? Then we still. Let's go shopping first. What's the matter with you? Before we got together. You never do that. Anyone? You take me for a fool. I'll give it to you again. Last chance. Let's go. Come home with me. Hey, let's go shopping first. Go home after shopping. Okay. Then go shopping first, Miss Lin. This dress. Just check out. Send it back to my house. Let's go shopping first. Okay. Okay. You say. If you take me out to play. You have to take me. Go where I like. What do you think? Would I like it here? Here? It's our first. The place of encounter. Don't you think? Returning to the old place is romantic. I still prefer home. Hey. You won't. Do you want to pick up some treasure? Although you have a good eye. But let me tell you something. This place has the most counterfeits. It's hard for a woman to cook without rice. No matter how good your eyes are. But it's useless without the baby. What if there were? Warring States Dragonfly Eye Glazed B. The genuine product is worth 5,000 square meters. Good stock. What a good product. I think it could be worth several hundred million. Hundreds of millions. I don't have it. I still have 50 million. 50 million. Where? Yes. It depends. Remember to cooperate well. Okay. Boss. I want to give it to my girlfriend. Hey. Pain. Why are you pinching me? Who made you say it wrong? I'm not your girlfriend. Is your fiancé? Your wife? Oh yes. Boss. And this is my wife. Young people are so loving. Nice. Then you say, I give my wife. What should I pick? Your wife is so beautiful. Certainly. I need a jade pendant. Let me tell you something. This jade pendant, but it's the best stuff I have. It's worth hundreds of thousands. Ordinary jade pendant. Eagle is worth 50. Boss. This is just an ordinary jade pendant. I want to buy something. But I don't want to be slaughtered like a fool. I'm just here. Whatever. Hey. Boss. How much is this? This one. But the glazed beads of the Song dynasty. It's worth 50,000. What? Boss. Just a glass ball. Do you want $50,000? Hey. This is not a glass ball. This is a glazed bead from the Song dynasty. Hey boss. Don't lie to me. Antiques are valuable. Because it was valuable before. Otherwise. Then I'll pick up any stone. It's many years old. Why is no one there? Come out and buy it at a high price. That is. Boss. I'll give you $500. Do you sell it or not? Hey. You are stupid. This thing is only worth $5. You actually spent $500. Oh, dear, I already told you. Don't come to this place. Go home, go. Boss. If you don't sell it, we'll go. Sell. Just 500. Why are you so stupid? Spend $500 buy this thing. Okay. Go home and see how I treat you. Hey. Boss. Come on. Hey. How did it go? I did okay. Very nice. When investing before. Just acting. But. What the hell is this thing? This one. It is the dragonfly glass bead of the Warring States period. If you put it up for auction. If anyone wants to buy, we'll pay a high price. Really? You have such a good eye. That's right. My assets. How many are there now? Your assets. There must be billions. But, what's mine is yours. Count up your assets. The current valuation should be 1.5 billion. 1.5 billion. Myself. It is estimated that he made a few hundred million. Of course, yeah. But what's mine is yours. So add up. There should be so many. How are you happy? Yin, you? All right. Don't say anything. And you gave it to me too, part of the dowry. When was that? How? This thing is a dowry. No way. Certainly. But how much is that? The rest of the dowry. What else do you want? It's profitable. Then I want several hundred million. Okay. With my current ability. It is estimated that you will earn it soon. Stupid. I only need one night. Come on, go home. I said before that I wouldn't let the maid come. I see what you are using now. It went well. They are not bad. After all, before, I feel the same way at home. But now, this is my home. Do you want me to accompany you to the company? No, this morning. The secretary texted me. Said it was held by the Zhong family. Public auction to take place. I'm going to go with you. Accompany me. Of course it is necessary. Now the company's focus has shifted. You are the most important person. Again. Don't you want me to accompany you? Of course I want to. Just in time, let's go and have a look together. Let's see what's worth buying. Oh, right. I still have to tell you. How about today? There will be many. People from the Treasure Appraisal Association were present. The association founded by the Zhong family. The Wu family was also deeply involved in the follow-up. What about the Lins? Lin family. Previous center of gravity, not on antiques and gems. It's a collaboration. But not many. But be careful. People from Beijing Treasure Appraisal Association, don't you like it? Just right, I don't like them either. Not incompetent. It is capable but capable. Can I tell you? Zhong family pair appraiser, still very sheltered. And that's the foundation upon which they can build. These years. Zhong family and Wu family also use the association. Wu himself, lots of invisible benefits. But they. Without my eyes. Okay. Without your eyes. You are alone, worth more than all of them. Okay then I'm going to clean up first. Pack us up, get up. Yeah, okay. Come on. Wu Ying, why is he calling me? Wu Clan Master, can I help you? Mr. Yang. I got the message. Vice President of the Treasure Appraisal Association preparing to take action against you. How to do it? So far. It should still be limited to means within the association. Zhang Jiajing did not make a move, certainly. Neither do my Wu family. After all, we already have a cooperative relationship. However, the vice president and the president, they are all from the Zhong family. This is enough to show that the attitude of the Zhong family doesn't matter. Come by any means. I'd love to see it. What are they going to do? We are now a situation of cooperation. Have any trouble? Tell me. Certainly. But I don't feel the need. Certainly. My vision absolutely can't go wrong. Okay, it is good that Mr. Yang has confidence, but when Mr. Yang is free, is it possible? And look at our rocks. Recently, a new batch has been added. It's okay. I'll go when I'm free. Mr. Yang, it's better than seeing. You are. This is the Treasure Appraisal Association. Vice President of Li Xianhua. Miss Lin. Long time no see. I prefer. People call me Mrs. Yang. Miss Lin. You don't know. How much trouble is the Lin family making now? Lin Yueying is already alone. Members of the Lin family. Also for their own property. Are you working hard? He brought it upon himself. Without my husband, I can't turn it around. I know Mr. Yang. Ability is very good. Usually don't shoot. If you make a move, must be profitable. My gilt Buddha head. Not from the Ming dynasty, right? Yes, that's from the Tang dynasty. Worth at least 80 million. Instead of 5.5 million. Mr. Yang, if you like. My bergamot. I can give it to you. But I hope you can. Wu Qin has a meal. And take a pleasant photo. I will announce. Auction day. Actually, you got one wrong. Wu Qin saw one right. What do you mean? What do you mean? Is to make my husband admit that you were wrong? Everyone fails. It's normal. Wu Qin has failed before. Is it Mr. Yang? Do you feel yourself in the coming decades? Won't you miss once? Will not. Mr. Yang, why bother? This thing. It was you and me. You can both get bergamot. The association has saved face again. Why don't you think? I'm missing 5.5 million. I really don't know. Why are you interested in the association? Will be so concerned. Did you forget? Your surname is not Zhong. Vice President Li, remember. Let someone take my bergamot. Deliver to my wife's company. If not, I'm going to be fine. Talk to the outside world. Zhong family auction. How excellent. How fair and selfless. And what a good eye. I'm dying of laughter. Stop laughing. We should probably get back. Where are we going? Go to Wu's house. I promised Wu Ying before, to see the stone. Come on. The Hetian Suet jade. Genuine. Worth 150 million. Such a big Hetian Suet jade. How big? Mr. Yang, which piece are you talking about? This is Hetian Suet jade. You can cut according to what I drew. Can cut out complete Hetian Suet jade. Worth at least 150 million. Mr. Yang. Then do as we said before. This Suet jade is yours. Then I will accept it without ceremony. After cutting. Just send it directly to Shijing. Mr. Yang, give me this. Do you want me to help you draw? Okay. That piece. Okay. This time there is a jade stone. Obviously too few. It seems. Only think of other ways. Okay. Recently, Zhongming, the eldest young master of the Zhong family, a new stone gambling workshop has opened. At that time, do you want us to smash the scene? Zhong family and your Wu family. It should be a partnership. My dad said, anything that is not good for Mr. Yang, then they are no longer allies. In that case, it's okay if we go and toss. And I have long seen Zhongming, that little cutie is upset. So when are we going? Just tomorrow. Let's go directly to the transfer station. It's all direct from there. The goods pulled back from mining. They were sort of the first ones. It is most likely to ship in bulk at that time. Okay, then we'll go tomorrow. Okay, then we'll go first. Okay, I'll pick you up in person tomorrow. Let's go. In that case, looks like you can make a lot of money again. Give me a little quicker. Don't break it for me. Be careful. Oh, dear. My good brother Zhongming. Finally meet you. We're not that familiar yet, are we? We are good brothers. How could it be unfamiliar? Come and let me introduce you. This one. He is the most famous treasure appraiser in Qingcheng, Yang Zhuang, Mr. Yang. And this one is the future heir to the Zhong family, Zhongming. I heard my dad talk about you. You have many times against our family, and he refused to settle. How did you come here with him? Of course, come together to make a lot of money. Let me tell you something. This person's eyesight, it was horrifying. You goods. He finished it in 10 minutes. At that time, it's not that the cart and others have finished reading it. People are waiting for the cart. Pull the stone over. Wu Jie, don't talk nonsense. I know this guy is awesome. But so what? He is already us, enemy of the Zhong family. Again. Can you be nice to him? Zhongming. You are so stupid. How nice that is. Opportunity to make a lot of money. You are hopeless. Natural chloride. Genuine. Worth 100 million. Glass King Green. The real thing is worth 80 million. As expected of a transfer station, you can choose first here. There are 2 coming up. Rough stones worth 100 million. Nice. You 2 haven't finished talking yet? Mr. Yang, this is almost the choice. Certainly. But I still want to know, how much do I earn? Hey. Our family not only gave Mr. Yang 5 million appearance fee, also worth hundreds of millions, Emperor Green was sent out. It's naturally 2 pieces to you. Why give 2? Our family gave away a piece. Your family will naturally give away a piece as well. Isn't that just $2? That's right. There's also a $5 million appearance fee, don't you forget. Then he didn't even pay the appearance fee. Isn't there 10 million? Hey. Zhongming. The 5 million. It's just a trifle for you. As for this rough stone, it's not a big problem. Our Qingcheng. The most famous. It's rough mining. Make a lot of money then. Certainly not a problem. The appearance fee is just a trifle. I also want these 2 rough stones. No need to cut. Directly packaged. Just send it to my wife Shijing. What is your wife's Shikyo? That's not Miss Lin Ruyin, of company? Lin Ruyin. It's not Miss Lin anymore. It was Mrs. Yang. I'm afraid so. See you next time. Even children. Hey, hey, hey. Don't say that. Let's get back to work. Let me show you. You record. Okay. This piece. Mr. Yang refers to these. Absolutely in stock. You move quickly. Lin Ruyin is married. I don't know. Be sure to let Yang Zhuang. That kid was ruined. Hurry up and let the people of the association do it. Unscrupulous. Lao Zhong. You are so slow. We have almost there. You must deliver it to us. Designated place. We'll go first. Mr. Yang. Don't look at Zhongming. It's been this way since I was a kid. But he had a lot of bad ideas. Does he know Yin Yin? This is impossible. This guy. Even with Miss Lin Ruyin. I don't even have the courage to look at each other, but he has always been. Secret love for Miss Lin. But it doesn't matter. This Lin Ruyin, she is no longer Miss Lin. It was Mrs. Yang. Then I'm relieved. Please send me back to Shijing. It's okay. Here we go. This time I personally delivered it to Shijing. You don't have to go. I just wasn't in the company for a few days. You just give me the whole. What a big mob. Read before you, for the sake of credit and hard work. I'll give it to you again. Last chance. If you can't recover your losses, just quit your job and get out. Mr. Lin, don't worry. I will definitely recover the loss. Don't worry, Mr. Lin. I didn't say don't. Hey. Husband, why are you here? Are you working? Why don't I go first? No. I go. Remember what I just told you. If the loss cannot be recovered, I don't want to see you either. Take your resignation report to see me, yes. Why haven't you seen enough? I haven't seen you yet. Aloof look. Okay, show me a little more. That won't work. I am to you. Can't make that expression. Don't say this. Tell me this time. How much do you earn? I also picked 2 stones. Sold for 180 million. Husband, you are amazing. I knew it. Your eyes are the best. Mr. Zhong, Mr. Lin doesn't want to see anyone now. You go out first. What are you doing here? I have always liked you, Miss Lin, Zhongming. Now she is my wife. So you. Please call me Mrs. Yang in the future. Tomorrow is my birthday. This is the invitation for you too. At the banquet, there are antique exhibitions and auctions. You too must come. Yin Yin. Tomorrow's auction. Shall we go? Of course I'm going. Zhongming's birthday party every year. The Zhong family will turn it into liaison meetings and auctions. And the way they auction. Very unusual. It's a mix of real and fake. And the starting price is particularly high. If it's genuine, the starting price can be tens of thousands. Then isn't this another? The disputed item is auctioned off. That's different. The disputed item is almost there is no genuine product. But this auction of the Zhong family. Number of genuine and counterfeit products, it's 50/50. If the Zhong family intends make friends with your words, it is very likely that I will tell you in advance which genuine product is the most valuable. That sounds interesting. Then we have to go. Of course you're going. But before going, we need to buy a gift first. It certainly is. What to give? Send antiques. Do you remember? I took you there before, the store where you buy clothes. Let's go to that store to buy it. Why do you have to go to that store? You'll know when you go. Let's go. Mr. and Mrs. Yang. Here we go again. Are you going to buy clothes this time? Do you still have the previous stock? Of course there is. The store manager has always remembered your instructions. Good. Go for it. What the hell is going on? You didn't tell me last time. From small to large. Lin Yuying has made me angry a lot. Later. I every time when buying him clothes. Come here to customize. I am dedicated to him. Ordered a fabric. It's okay to the touch. But what about wearing it? Just sweat a little. It's going to be really hard. It's like a needle prick. I can't tell you're scheming. This is a necessary means. But now, there is no need to send it to Lin Yuying. The Zhong family dares to target you like this. This must be used. Gross up. Mrs. Yang. The clothes are already in the gift box. That's so great. There we go. Just wait for Zhongming tomorrow. His birthday will disgust him. Okay. This Li Xianhua. Why are you still next to Wu Jie? Person with a foreign surname to be able to do this. Definitely better than the Zhong family. They went the extra mile. I guess he doesn't know yet. The Zhong family and my family. Boss Yang, you're finally here. Can you keep your voice down? And I'm not the boss of the sheep. Mr. Yang, you came at the right time. I was going to put you yesterday. Make 200 million. Tell that little cutie Zhongming. Ming Xuan the blue and white sea dragon pattern. Press cut. The real thing is worth 200 million. What are you looking at? See that pressure cut? $200 million. Really? I haven't seen 200 million antiques. Let's go. Husband, this is it. The pressure cup you mentioned. Yes, that's it. Husband, you are amazing. I found the most expensive one when I first arrived. Aren't you ready to make a move? Why haven't you attacked him yet? Yang Zhuang did have some confidence. Even the head of the family, thinking about what to do. Our president. His suggestion is make the best fake. Shoot again. Too slow. You won't. Prepare a few fakes directly. Swap real and fake. Zhong Xiao is now rashly making a move. May not win. It's a draw at most. If it's a tie. Known by outsiders. Our association cheated. They won't come to us anymore. In that case. Zhong family for more than 10 years. Layout. Can be completely destroyed. I'm going to find my dad. You and my uncle hurry up and do it. Distinguished guests. Didn't know you were here. How was it? I can't wait. We're about to start our opening scene. Now I declare. The auction officially began. The starting price for each collection is 1 million. everyone. This is where the birthday auction begins. Everyone is free to bid. Each bid is not less than 1 million. Uncapped. We auctioned this one first. 2. My father asked. I just happened to. I also want to see the head of the Zhang family, Mr. Yang. Your fame has soared. These days, my men talk about you every day. Then what I hope the Zhang family master hears, you will feel happy. Of course happy. In our association, to have someone like Mr. Yang. When the president, I felt quite at ease. President, I don't know. The bigger the family. Many things I can't help myself. I every year, all for my son, celebrate birthday. My son has never. Not the protagonist. People who come here. As long as this person is truly important, I can make this person become the real protagonist. Mr. Yang, if you want, become the president of our association. I will put Mingxuanda, blue and white Haitian dragon pattern pressure cut, free for you. As long as you do things for our Zhang family. I don't want to work for anyone. I don't want to be subdued. This is my good husband. We fight like this. What's the use? Then get out of my way. Get in your way. What do you mean? Let my hands. Abandon cooperation with the Wu family. The loss you caused to the association. I can't get it back. Thus, look at my Zhang family. Decades of family business. Slowly sinking. Face. Rotten thighs. I think. The only thing the Zhang family can do. It's amputation. Survival. The only thing the Zhang family can do. It's amputation. Survival. Dad? Why do you have to cooperate with Yang Zhuang? Shut up. Are you forcing me? In front of so many people. Slap you. You have a little. Mr. Yang's eyesight. Me neither. With my hot face. Go stick to other people's cold ass. My eyesight is no worse than his. He has rejected us. We should fight to the death. Could it be that? Do you really want our previous efforts? Do you have to give for nothing? The appearance of a strong man will inadvertently destroy many people. Even if you are. Get in his way. So be it. Wait until the party is over. You go to Zhang Wei and Li Xianhua. By all means. Let Yang Zhuang be ruined. Shattering his undefeated myth. As long as he is no longer at his peak, the association can survive. Wu family. It is possible. No longer cooperate with Lin Ruyin. I guess. Zhong Kaiqian is about to die of anger, and behind. Will definitely get revenge on you. It doesn't matter. Come on. I was curious. Why association? Don't come to me. Original. It's this Kaiqian I don't think I can beat. To buy me. Want me to be subdued? Absolutely impossible. Okay, let's not talk about this. I don't know that pressure cut. Is it time for the auction? Everyone. Here it is. Ming Xuanda's blue and white porcelain press cut. What about the lines on it? It's Haitian dragon pattern. If it is true. At least worth hundreds of millions. 2 million. Okay, 1 million times. 3 million. Okay, million a time. 5 million. 10 million. Okay, this gentleman offers 10 million. 10 million a time. 10 million times. 10 million 3 times. Okay, it's a deal. Thanks a lot. Neither did I. No one is bidding anymore. Maybe we should make an offer. After all, Mr. Yang took action. It must be true. Okay, can you auction again? I didn't recognize Mr. Yang. Otherwise, 10 million for a fake, but it's boring. Fool. Against Mr. Yang. You go ahead. Master Zhong is getting old. I can't even hold a cut. Otherwise, you're going to pay us back. 10 million is still affordable. Humph. 10 million. Jianfang. This cup is going to be really broken, but not 10 million. 200 million. Let's go. Mr. Yang. You this time. But hit hard. Their faces? And as soon as you shoot, that's 200 million. We should go. Do this. They must have a grudge in their hearts. Why are you leaving? We should be here. Hit them hard in the face. I'll leave that to you. Yang Zhuang and I are not here, being watched. Yes. Both of us. Can't do this kind of thing. I'll leave it to you. Okay. I like it on their faces. Dancing. They look helpless. I'm going to find Zhong Ming. Where is that guy? This Wu Jie is like a child. Although a child. But at least someone with a sense of boundaries. There we go. Stay here. It's a waste of time. Okay, let's go home. You go home, now. It seems a bit inappropriate. It looks okay here. Or, I'll go talk to Wu Jie. Husband, go. Go home. Husband. Stay up. Just let me go. Now. But during the day? Broad daylight. Don't delay. You drink tea. Hey. Are you using me as a machine? How can there be? People care about your health. Hey. If you really care about my health, then we recently sleep in separate rooms. Hey. That won't work. That. Can you live in peace? Of course you can. I listen to my husband the most. Before we got together, I've never seen you so crazy. You are all in my hands. I can still make you run away. Okay. Oh, I see. Baby, go fast. Hey. Are you trying to deceive me with this trick again? Oh, dear, really not. Wu Jie just called Zhong's house, sent the president of the association, and the vice president, and Zhong Minute, to deal with you. Really? You didn't lie to me. I promise. If I lied to you, we will just split the room for half a month. Okay. Let's go. You. It turns out that you are all pretending. You weren't like this just now. Hey. Isn't this you? There we go. Get dressed and go. Wu Xiao, just help me once. Help me one last time. Get lost. Wu Xiao, please help me. Wu Xiao. You help me. Really troublesome. Wasting my time here. Believe it or not, I kicked you away. How did Lin Yuing become like this? Last time I remember. When he left, he said he wanted revenge on me. Sister. I was kicked out of the Lin family. Please help me. Grandpa completely took me. Kicked out of the Lin house. I'll fuck you. Forget it, stop hitting him. Sorry. He's right here. It's been bugging me for too long. I can't take it anymore. Why is he here? He has now kicked out of the house by the Lin family. Now, there is no way. No door. Now your reputation. It spread throughout Qingcheng. This Lin Yuing came naturally. I still remember him saying he wanted revenge on me. I remember that too. But obviously, he played himself off. Without the Lin family, I'm afraid no one can protect him. Mrs. Yang is still kind-hearted. What do you care what he does? No, Mr. Yang, I got you 50 million. Your company. But it's been replaced long ago. Let's go in first. You must go in. But before going in, one more thing. What's so mysterious? Li Xianhua. Intentional job hopping. Join our Wu family. Are you sure? Of course, yeah. This is Li Xianhua told me personally. He feels at the Zhong family there was no room for improvement. Originally he wanted to join you. But his ability is in your opinion. Obviously not enough. So he chose. Take refuge in our Wu family. That's fine. Did he reveal anything else? Not really. However, Li Xianhua said. With Mr. Yang's ability, winning the game is definitely not a problem. However, Li Xianhua said. The Zhong family who participated in the competition this time already know the answer to the game. So he says. Wait for Mr. Yang. After winning the game, he will jump out. Expose the Zhong family's conspiracy. This Li Xianhua still left a way out for himself. In case you don't recognize it, he won't jump out. No, I'm pretty sure. He will definitely jump out. Okay, let's go first. Okay, my dad is there too. Come on. Mr. Yang. Such a big battle. Didn't scare you? How can these battles scare me? Instead, it was Mr. Zhong. To show the unprofessionalism of their own association, it was built this big. A stage? Our association has been established for more than 10 years. All experienced treasure appraisers. Why is it unprofessional? Mr. Yang. Still on stage. Show your eyesight. Wait a minute. Today's stage. It's for 4 treasure appraisers. Unrelated personnel are not allowed to play. Mr. Yang, why don't you start with me? Let's take a look at this. Ming Yongla's blue and white plum vase. Is it true or false? Modern plum bottle. It's worth 200 yuan. Fake. You can see it when you come up. As expected of a master of masters. True or false? Just an invitation. When I came up, I saw that it was fake. He shouldn't. Already know the answer. Watch it. Does the Zhong family want to die? If it fails this time, the Zhong family must be seriously injured. That's your decision. I wouldn't be so judgmental. I already know the answer. Still packing here. I take the honor of the president of the association. And the entire association, reputation at stake. This is fate. The Zhong family really put themselves pushed to death. Yeah. It doesn't depend on what Zhong Kaitian says. I declare. This blue and white plum vase. It's a product. You two are right. Mr. Yang. Let's move on to the next one. This time. Look at the Warring States period. Is the wrong gold bronze tripod real or fake? Inferior bronze tripod. Fake. It's worth 500 yuan. That Zhong Yu is a waste. Not as good as me. Experience is not as good as mine. It's the surname Zhong. Right on my head. So many years. I take the association guarantee in the name of the vice president. This bronze tripod is fake. I also think it's fake. Now I declare. Bronze tripod is fake. Now we proceed to the last one. Are you sure? Don't worry. With my eyesight, enough to see what's in there. I will drive you to the dust. Let Yin Yin see. Who is it? The best man. Oh? She was pregnant. Pardon me? And I said, okay, she is pregnant with my child. False bloodstone. Worth 100. The Zhong family also faked the rough stones together. HMPH, it deserves to fall. The rough stone inside is blood-colored. But I have one more thing to announce. But I'll have to wait. Here in the bread. It's $1 billion piece. Scarlet stone. It can be said to be rare in the world. If it is handed over to the master for processing, absolutely double the value. That being the case, I will take this rough stone, take it to the backstage to cut, then bring it up. Specific eyesight. I will never lose to you. No wonder Yin Yin doesn't like you. So your goal. Just don't lose to me. Now I declare. This is a real piece. Kunlun blood jade. I didn't expect it. Mr. Yang also saw everything. But members of my association, the best of the best. And they lived up to expectations. Make accurate judgments. Did I say? There is still one result that has not been announced. What other results do you want to announce? Cut. It's over. It's all over now. Mr. Yang, you have proven your ability. But our association members are not bad either. There are 3 of them. Treasure appraisal activities in the future. Can't go wrong. Can you give me the blood jade first? What do you want blood jade for? Why do you feel guilty? What guilt? I just don't want to put this. Dear, I'll give it to you. Afraid that you will fall to the ground. I don't know yet. What is the loss? If I damage this blood jade, I'll pay you 200 million. It looks really good. I have a question, though. This home. How to put a fake stone wrapped in this rough stone? Could it be that? Are you looking for a Korean to study? Said the rough stone was fake. This guy, I knew it was fake at the beginning. How would he know? Could it be that he has clairvoyant vision? No. X-ray vision can't tell the truth. Shouldn't anyone tell? Humph. Can't be Master Yang. Exceptional eyesight? This is crap. It's worthless. Just a fake. It's true. You need to pay me 200 million. Really? Good idea. Come. Give me your spectrometer. Yes, you feel guilty. Dad, why don't you believe me? I can see what's inside. How can you fake it? I know every time he identifies, it's all accurate. But I just don't want to admit defeat. Why give it to you? The spectrometer is mine. I want to buy it myself. You don't want to give it? Still dare not give it to me. I just don't want to give. Why give it to you? Spectrometers are precious. If you want to use it, buy it yourself. I finally declare. Today's treasure appraisal activity, it's over. Mr. Yang Wen bought a spectrometer. When will it start? How? Do you want to procrastinate? Everyone, this competition. The Zhong family already knew. Are these antiques real or not? Even this rough stone. It's all fake. All the evidence. I have sent it. Major news media. Everyone, you can check it yourself. It's the truth. This news has been posted. Front page headlines. Evidence of fraud by the Zhong family. So much, I actually bought a fake. Zhong Kaiqian, I curse you. Li Xianhua, you eat inside and out. You lunatic, dare to betray us. Without our Zhong family, how can you have this status? Your eyesight, your ability. All worse than me. I should be the president. Just because your surname is Zhong. So just ride on my head. Yelling at me. Your appraisals. 9 times out of 10, it's all from my hands. You have no ability at all. You jerk. I'll kill you. Zhong Yu. Let go of Master Li. This Zhong Ya is a waste. The entire Zhong family, no one has an eye. Without me. This Treasure Appraisal Association can't be open. I declare. Yuking Cheng Zhong family, the founding of the Treasure Appraisers Association. Disband. Li Xianhua. Are you crazy? Do this. What's in it for you? Bitch, you are a bitch. All of you. Unconscientious thing. Go away. I'll tell you what, you have to die. Fake. This is what happens to you. Yang Zhuang. I won't let you go. Don't you dare let him go. I won't let you go either. It was a good show today. Everyone, I have another one today. New news to be announced. Yang family and Wu family, the cooperation will be officially launched. And Li Xianhua, as the treasure appraiser of the Wu family, keep working. Start today. Fake Zhong family will be completely destroyed. Okay. Okay. Husband. From now on, you will be Qing Cheng, the best appraiser. Zhong family fell. All of this. It's all ours. Yes, Zhong family fell. This can all end.